Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys and girls, and welcome. Oh, please excuse me, my throat. Anyway, I watched the first part of AMV, One Piece Saving a Brother, Marineford, Part 1 of 2, HD. So now, here is One Piece AMV, Saving a Brother, Marineford, Part 2 of 2. The first part, I did not understand at all what was going on. I didn't understand why the characters looked weird. I didn't understand what was going on with the characters. Now I know a lot more. Thank you all for filling me in. I had no idea what was happening. Now, in the context of the anime, it makes a lot more sense. So thank you. That's awesome. Now, though, let us watch all, possibly all, I may cut this down, because it's 16 minutes, One Piece AMV, Saving a Brother, Marineford, Part 2 of 2, HD. And let us start watching that right now. Okay, there's an important notice. That's good to know. That is good to know. Especially if you are a subscriber or viewer. +700 episodes, though? There's no way I'd be able to ever catch up. That's like trying to watch all of the Dragon Ball Z episodes by now from all the eras. I mean, in the context of the show, that weird mustache makes sense. I can kind of read it. Oh. I can read it a little bit now. I mean, and again, of course, the music, ooh, mix there, segue musically. I mean, it's very, very well done music, very orchestratic, very orchestral, or orchestral. That would be somewhat, well, more than somewhat, that would be absolutely terrifying to be just a part of, you know, just an innocent civilian and watching all that. Yeah, I can actually read the subtitles a little better now. Attack even if it costs you your lives. Why? It's gonna cost me my life. I don't know if I'd fight. It would depend on the cause, I suppose. In a relatively small battle among relatively few people, and it looks like thousands are dying. That sucks, to be just an innocent bystander in a world like this. I mean, the body count must be terrible. How you could justify any actions that would harm anybody else. I don't really know a whole lot to say to this one, and I'm still very sorry. I mean, it's visually very interesting, and orally, of course, it's very interesting. It's very well done. It's awesome music. It's like, again, the body count here must be just terrible. It would really, really suck just to be a quote-unquote innocent bystander. Anyone who's not one of the main characters. It would be horrible. I mean, this is more chaotic than superheroes and supervillains in the Marvel and DC universes. This is, you know, if you haven't eaten a piece of fruit and gotten weird powers in this world, then you're hosed. Lunatics that have eaten the fruit are going to be killing people that haven't all over the place. You'd be a lunatic to not eat any of that, just to protect yourself. Because anyone who hasn't eaten of the fruit would be getting killed by all the lunatics that have. I could see a situation like this leaving. You know, it would be exciting stories like this, but at the end, the entire planet is just depopulated. Everyone has killed each other because they've been eating these fruits and gotten powers, and they just slaughtered each other horribly. The entire surface of the planet would probably just be one radioactive, hellish surface. Because after all of this happening, just because these people have eaten this stuff, holy smokes. Give it another 100 years, there would be nothing left. I mean, I'd be personally more interested in the stories that happen like 200 or 300 years after this right now, when most of the people on the planet are dead, and it's just like maybe 100 people left, the ones that have got real strong powers, as they just try and fight to kill each other. Eventually there would only be 5 or so on the surface of the planet, each of them owning their own continent, and just in constant battles against the others until at the last, 1,000 years after this, there's only one person left. And then eventually he or she dies of old age. Or, even more tragically, because of the fruit they've eaten, they can't ever die. I'm more interested in that story than this story. You go 500 years in the future and extrapolating past this, and this all happens so far back in the distant past when there actually were people that no one would even remember this time. There would just be the constant warfare among the 100 or so people left. Man, what a terrifying world that is. There's just no hope. That's the interesting story going on here. I mean, this sort of stuff is just this is like the Big Bang. You know, it's the beginning of the life when there's only 100 or so people alive and they're all fighting each other. No one would even understand this kind of life. Since after all, the natural extrapolation of this world is 500 years from now, any false move would get you killed. What a grim world this place becomes in just a few hundred years. Yeah, I'd like to see the end result. Several hundred years from now. I'd like to know what happens to this world and what the people are like that have to live in the world 500 years after all this happens. This would all be such ancient history that no one would even be able to understand what's happening. The worlds would be so different. Yeah. All this would be nothing more than just the exploding of stars billions of years ago that creates the universe we live in now. This universe's Big Bang. When we get to see what happens with the people that remain in this world. Because there's no way that this sort of society, this kind of civilization, this kind of world, their civilization simply would not last. It couldn't. With these sort of people, this sort of power, this sort of ability to simply do what you want, without the maturity to act properly with that power. That's the responsibility of power. And everybody in here is just not caring about anybody else, aside from their immediate family. But when you only care about immediate family and damn everyone else, you're not going to have a civilization. You can't. There would be no civilization on this planet with the powers that they have. They couldn't. Anybody who wants anything would simply be able to do it. What would stop them otherwise? Just themselves, their own consciences. And we can already see that using your conscience to stop you from hurting other people when you have that power, I don't see a single one of these people acting in a even in a halfway responsible fashion. It's more of a, we're going to get what we want and damn the consequences, I don't care who I hurt. And in any kind of world like that, if you are not one of the big time people, then you're nothing but cannon fodder and someone waiting to die. This is a terrifying, terrifying world. Man. Well, as it turns out, because I've yammered all the way through it, I don't actually have anything to say now that it's actually all over. Because I've yammered all the way through it. Now, it may seem like I really just dogged it and don't like it. It's more, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have watched it. And the fact that I've been talking and extrapolating all the way through it about what kind of world that this would be, I find that, you know, it may not be the exact reason that you would find it fascinating, but I find that fascinating to think about what sort of world that this would come up with. The sort of thing that I've been talking about all the way through it. I found that part fascinating. So if I hadn't liked it, I wouldn't have watched it. And I wasn't making fun of it because, you can tell, I wasn't making fun of it. That was a simple extrapolation upon what's been given to us. If I was making fun of it, you know, I would have made fun of it. And there's a lot there that could have been made fun of. But there's no need to make fun of that. I'd like to see the end results of what happens in that world 500 years later. I'm quite sure that it is just a devastated wasteland with only 500 years from now, maybe 100 people left. Too powerful. Weird, weird world. Interesting stuff. Thank you for watching, if you watched the entire thing. Thank you for enjoying. I sure hope you did. And if you have any comments or suggestions, if you could leave them down in the comment box. I love comments. I read them all. I try to answer it as best as I can. If I can't leave any actual words, I'll at least give you a +1 to show you that I read it. I'm doing my best on that. YouTube, I do not know what's going on. I'm going through, I can +1 things, I come back to it, it's unplussed them. There are some people's comments I've had to, hit +1 on them every time I've gone in and done comments, like 5 times in a day, 10 times. I check on it and the plus is gone. I don't know what's going on. I use different browsers and it all happens the same. I don't understand. It does not record all my +1s. Sometimes I gotta fight to make it accept comments. But thank you very much. You take care. Have a very, very good day, and I will see you on the flip side. You take care.